And this is Anna's questions.
Yes, these are Anna's questions. And if you're ready,
Go on then.
what is your biggest memory of your sister?
Biggest memory. It's a funny word to use, biggest. Well, the memory I think I've told you before is when I was very young, probably 7 or 8, and my parents went out and left her to babysit. She would have then, she's 8 years older than me, so she would have been 15 or 16, and I was in bed, of course, and she would come up the stairs saying, "Roger, I'm coming to get you. I'm coming to get you. I'm a witch." And she had an appearance vaguely like a witch in her youth as a teenager. And I used to scramble down into the bed and pull the bedclothes over my head and say, "Don't be so silly, Helena. Go away. Don't be so silly."
But you were scared then?
I was scared, yes. And that happened not very often, but it happened 2 or 3 times when my parents went out together, which was very unusual, really, and left her to babysit. And at that time, Leif would have been away at school. He would have been in Christ Hospital, so he wouldn't have been in the house.
Okay. What do you remember about her boyfriends?
Nothing, because the only boyfriend that I'm aware of prior to her marriage was when she was up at Oxford University, and she was friendly with a Spanish guy whose name I did know but I'd forgotten, who had fought in the Spanish Civil War, which of course was only a few years before. And she obviously became very friendly with him. How friendly, I don't know. But it was under his influence that she converted to Catholicism, because she was not of any particular religion when she went up to Oxford. And I'm not sure whether she had been baptized. She may have been, she probably was, but I wasn't. But she had no religion. And then she met this chap, and she decided to convert to Catholicism. And my father was very upset about this. He was dead against the Catholics, and he and the Pope, and he did his best to dissuade her, but she went her own way. She was old enough to do that.
So what age would she have been then?
Well, at university she would have been 18 to 21, I suppose. Although that's right, I remember now, because the date of, in those days, you didn't get your majority till you were 21. And father had refused to sign his consent, which was necessary, apparently, for the Catholic Church. And she said, "Well, just wait till I'm 21 then, and I won't need your consent." I can remember the rows about that.
Ah, right.
Yes.
So she didn't do it until she was 21 then?
No, that's right.
Well, that actually covers the next question. I'll just read you the next question anyway.
Yeah, okay.
Which was, when did she convert to Catholicism? And how did your parents react to it?
Yeah, well, I've dealt with that.
Yeah, you have.
I think mother was indifferent. She was always trying to pacify and keep things cool, and but father was very much against it.
So I'll move on. When did she go to Africa and why?
Well, I don't know the exact year, but it was not long after she got her degree. I would think within 12 months of getting her degree at Oxford, she went out to Nigeria because she had a job obviously been advertised, and she'd applied and got this post as a teacher at Queen's College, Lagos, which is, of course, the capital city of Nigeria. Still, I believe, the same. No, they've moved it now. It's a town, smaller town than Lagos, but Lagos is the biggest city and still is.
What was she teaching? English?
She was teaching English, yes. Yes. And there she met Douglas, who was an air traffic controller. That was he was at Kano, Kano, which is the second biggest city in Nigeria, and they had their own airport there. And I don't know how they met, but they obviously met, and the rest is history, as they say.
Okay. What happened in Cadaqués with the crisps?
Well, I've told you that one before.
Yeah, but you haven't told the camera.
But if Hannah's got the video, she knows about it. After Mary died, which was in 1967, November, the following Christmas, I took the children out to Cadaqués at Helena's suggestion that we should not be, as it were, alone, although we would have had mother and father there. But anyway, we flew to Barcelona and taxi to Cadaqués, to where Helena and Douglas had a house, which they frequently visited during the French holidays. And there was an incident about we stayed in the same house, which was very conveniently placed to the beach. And we'd been to the beach. I'd been with the children and came back with them. Now that would have been only 2 children, because this was before Neil was born, wasn't it? Or did I have 3? Now then, I said Mary died in 67. Neil was born. Yes, he was born. Of course he was. I had 3 children when Mary died. And yes, I had 3 children with me. And we came back to the house for a meal. And Helena was working in the kitchen, and there's a dining room adjoining with a table. And she said, well, there's a bowl of chips on the table, the kids can help themselves. And I looked on the table, and there was a bowl of crisps. And I said, Helena, there's no chips on the table. She said, oh yes, there are. And I said, no, Helena, there's no crisps, there are chips on the table. And
you mean there are no chips, there are crisps on the table?
Yes, sorry. I said there were crisps on the table, but no chips. And she picked up a knife and came at me with this knife. She was so cross about my correcting her English that she went for me with this knife, and I caught hold of her hand.
Did you?
And disarmed her.
Did you?
Oh, yes. Yes. I mean, whether she would have stuck it in me, I have no idea. But she was sort of gesturing like this in front of me.
Uh-huh.
And I grabbed her arm and took the knife away and said, don't be so stupid, Helena, or something. And so I moved the kids out of the house, and we rented a house in the village for the rest of the week that we were staying there.
Right.
Yes.
I see. But you still saw her though during that time?
Oh yes, I think we because Douglas was an odd character, tall, slim, very, very English spoken. Of course, he was from Surrey, I think, home county somewhere. And he had a motorboat in Cadaqués. But it was a very odd motorboat, because somehow or other, the cables leading to the rudder had been crossed, so that when you turned the steering wheel to the left, the boat went right, and vice versa. Of course, he was used to it, and he knew exactly, it was no problem to him. And then he asked, when I took over the controls and drove this boat through the harbour, trying to remember, when I want to go that way, I got to turn the wheel that way. And of course, I got it confused, and we nearly pranged the boat, but we didn't. He came and rescued me, and but I do remember that incident. And a daft idea not to put it right. It can't be involved very much to get those cables corrected, but he didn't. Yeah.
Okay.
I think the children were in the boat as well. Of course, they would have been.
Okay. It says here, you stayed at her home in Paris a few times. Was she there at the time?
I can only remember staying in Paris once. Whether we actually stayed overnight, I don't remember, but I remember visiting her flat in the south part of Paris. I don't remember the exact name of the place. But she was certainly there. She fed us. Don't think I was on my own, because I think either Mike Hughes or Clive would have been with me, because we were visiting as part of the referees' tour to Paris.
Ah, I see. I see. Nothing you can elaborate on with those memories?
No, not really. I remember that Helena taught me to swear in French.
Ah, right. What did she teach you? Share that with us.
When I would sing something, bucket it or something, and she said, in France we say merde, which I knew means shit. So that's
cool.
That's what I used after that.
Okay. How did she and Uncle Rafe get along?
Yeah, pretty well, as far as I know. I never recall any disharmony, but I don't think they had much to do with each other, really. Although, well, no, come on, no, that's not true. Thinking back, Rafe by this time was married and living in Beckenham, South London, and Helena for a while lived in the same street with Douglas. I think it was the same street. Anyway, she lived nearby. So they did have quite a bit to do with each other, but of course I wouldn't have known anything about what was happening.
Yeah. Okay. Did she argue a lot with Grampy, or did he have a soft spot for her?
I don't think it could be said that he had a soft spot for her. I've already mentioned about the arguments over Catholicism.
Yeah.
And I don't think they had a great deal to do with each other after that.
Oh, really?
No, I can't remember.
Well, what about in her childhood, though? Did he have did she manage to twist him round her little finger?
No, I don't think so.
No?
My recollection, obviously being 8 years younger, I have no real recollection of Helena's childhood. The first recollections I have of her, she would have been about 12 or 13, I suppose. She always had a nose in a book, and in that Lavenock Road house there was a small front room, which was originally supposed to be a dining room, but was never used by us as that. And she used to use it as a study, and she would take her books in there and sit in there and read and study. And that was the only thing that her father would occasionally say to her, for goodness, you've got your nose in the book again, why don't you go out and do something? And that's the only sort of contact that I can recall.
Because she was a heavy smoker, wasn't she?
She was a heavy smoker in adult life. She wasn't a heavy smoker in
when
that time.
So no, obviously not at that age. But were you aware when she started smoking?
Oh, I have no idea.
No?
I mean, after she was married, I suppose. Well, whilst she was up at Oxford, I expect. Before she was married.
Was her husband a smoker then, do you think?
Yeah, Douglas smoked as well. Yes, I think so. Any more?
Yes, there is. This is the last one. How would you summarise her character in 3 words?
3 words?
Well, not necessarily. Just summarise her character. It just says here in 3 words, but I'm sure Anna's not a stickler for you sticking to that.
I won't be able to. She had a good sense of humour. She often used to say things to make Mother and I laugh. I'm not saying Father because he wouldn't have been there, but when Mother and I were together, she had quite a quick sense of humour. She was obviously very intelligent. She got a very good degree at Oxford, and I think she was a good mother for her family. I can't say anything much more than that.
Did you love her as a sister? I mean, you know.
Oh dear, that's a difficult question. I can't say whether I loved my siblings. What's love to a young boy? I don't know. I was fond of them. I can say that I was fonder probably of Rafe than of Helena, because Helena had been a bit nasty to me. And Rafe was never nasty to me, and used to take me out when he went out with his mates on a ramble across the fields, and I would tag along with them, although I was 5 or 6 years younger. And he would say, "Oh, come on then," and so I think I would probably be honest in saying that I was more fond of my brother than I was of my sister.
Okay. Well, those are the questions all answered. I don't know if you want to add any more that you can think of about Auntie Helena.
Other than the obvious that her death was very tragic, and that Mother always blamed Jennifer for Helena's death. I don't need to expand on that, but I think Anna will understand.
Right. And I'll just add that my memories of Auntie Helena were when we were in St Cyrus Road, and she had a little Fiat 127, a pale blue Fiat 127.
You would remember the car, obviously.
And she took me up to Penarth town. It was just her and me, and she bought me something for my Action Man because she said she'd missed my birthday.
Oh.
And I remember going up and her smoking in the car, and that's about it, really.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.